is a throwaway. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Lost in that soldier race.
Hey everybody, let's find out and learn about my 2021 predictions. In the past, I have given out so many predictions, 2020, 2019, 2018, all the way since 2019. But this year, I want to give my 2020 predictions, and oftentimes, my predictions have been right on point. And like everybody else, my predictions of the greatest pandemic did not happen. But a lot of my predictions in 2020 and 2019 were true. Make sure you go back and watch our past videos on YouTube regarding those. But before I get started about my 2021 predictions, hit that thumbs up, as these predictions will help you make better financial decisions on what's going to happen to markets and to see how you can make the adjustments for your family. Make sure you reach all your financial goals heading in 2021. Now, before we really get deep into 2021, I think this 2021 is actually going to be a continuation of 2020. My view was 2020 was a year that you're supposed to get ready for everything you want for 2021, as 2021 is going to be a huge amount of bumps, curves going into it. And the news that we're hearing that things are going to change, things are about to open up, I truly believe are not true. So here are my 2021 predictions. Number one, low interest rates will remain. So right now, we're seeing that 30-year mortgages are going for 2.5%, 2.75%. Even if you have, as long as you have good credit, you can get a 30-year mortgage for less than 3%, which is record-breaking. You hear people who grew up in the 80s or bought their first house in the 80s, they're talking about having 17% interest. Savings accounts was paying out 12%. But right now, we're going to continue to see low interest rates remain, which is going to hurt retirees going into retirement who needs income, because interest rates are how they figure out their income. But at the same time, it's going to be great for people who are borrowing, lending money, because they're borrowing money at such low interest rates. Here's the second thing. Credit markets are going to tighten up. Even though we have low interest rates, we're going to see credit markets are going to get tighter, which means this. Normally you see, oh, there's a 30-year mortgage, let me go ahead and apply, refi, get a low rate, or let me buy that home because interest rates are so low. But what we're going to see is, even though those rates are low, they're going to get tighter and stricter on your auto loan, your mortgage loan, your business loan. They're going to make sure that you're able to pay back that loan. So they're going to make you go through some more hurdles. If you're a small business, they're going to make you go through your P&L right before you're closing on that mortgage. If you're looking for a business, they're going to make sure that your business can sustain itself to pay whatever the loan amount is for the life of that loan. So you're going to see underwriting in the credit markets get very tight. Another thing, we're going to see more government shutdowns. We're hearing about the vaccine. We're hearing that people are taking the vaccines. But what are we also hearing? We're hearing that there's different strains and different strands in different parts of the country. And not country, forget the country. We're hearing about it in the world. We're hearing about it in Britain. We're hearing about it in South Africa. We're hearing about it in Singapore. And we know those strains are coming here in the United States. And we know that vaccine is not going to cut it and is not the end all be all. So with the effects of that, and with the accumulation of more and more deaths, I think we're going to see more government shutdowns. Not just in the state or local governments like we see here in California, but we could possibly see a national shutdown. And so we have to properly prepare. So make sure you have enough food for your house. We might see grocery stores getting tighten up, but we're going to see more shutdowns in 2021. Another thing, we're going to see more layoffs and furloughs, which is going to come across from the next one on what to stop. At the beginning of the year, we heard furloughs and layoffs of gig workers predominantly, and people who are making less than 40 grand a year. When we talk about gig workers, we're talking about people who are driving Uber. We're talking about people who are doing Postmates and everything else. As the year went on, we was hearing layoffs from people who worked at more corporations, somebody who worked at airlines company, at Wells Fargo, and all these massive things. Because of the slowdown of the economy and the continuation of the slowdown of the economy, we're going to have a lot more mass layoffs. Now, on the government side, because of government constraints, we're going to see a lot more furloughs, which means if you call the court on a Friday to go into court for a ticket, they're not going to be available. If you went to your county office, they won't be there because they're not working on a Friday or a Thursday or a Monday. But we will see they will keep their job, but they will be furloughed. They will not work as many hours as they normally do, as we're cutting back on wages and salary on the government side. Which brings us to the next one. We're going to see more county, local, and other local municipalities and small municipalities have budget and financial issues. Now, the good thing about the federal government is they can keep printing money and the value of money can keep going down. But the thing that the thing that state and local municipalities do, they have to budget their budget. They cannot print money. What they could do is they could make more bonds, but they cannot create more money, which means they can make more further debt, but they cannot make more money. So this is going to be a huge issue. We're going to see more budget constraints. We can see more layoffs, and we're going to see some fighting and bickering between the unions and our government about what benefits are offered, decreases in salary, and what issues are going to be from there. And speaking of me talking about devaluing the money, I don't even have it on this list. We're going to see more inflation. We're going to have low interest rates, I believe, but we're going to see inflation. We're going to see inflation on our food prices, on the things you could buy, and the services you pay, as it's going to be costing more for those services to bring it through transportation, as now warehouses have to have less people working, have to put extra safety protocols in, which is going to make products cost more at the same time. At the same time, we might see certain places shut down through it who normally give us certain supplies. So we have to look at higher inflation, which means salaries and increases in incomes are going to decline this year nationally overall. But at the same time, the price of certain goods and services, prices will go up with inflation. Another thing will, like I said, I think COVID-19 or COVID-20 or COVID, whatever you want to do, will remain for most of 2021. It's not going to go away first quarter. I don't think it's going to go away in second quarter. I think it will not go away until the third, possibly the fourth quarter of 2021. So prepare yourself for a life of COVID. It is not done yet. They're saying we're averaging 3,000 deaths per day right now. And I think it's going to keep going on. There's going to be multiple strains. Like I talked about earlier, that vaccine, there's multiple strains, which means if there's multiple strains, we need multiple vaccines, right? Every year you get a flu shot because there's different flus every year and different strains or strands of the flu. It's the same thing with COVID. So just because we have the vaccine for this one, we don't have one yet for the new one in Britain, South Africa, or Singapore. I don't give a crap what they tell you. It's not there. It's not going to happen. So don't even think it's going to be. Well, we're on the federal level. We're going to see more government gridlock. I don't care what happens in Georgia, Democrat, Republican. We're going to see more gridlock. We're going to have more gridlock on the federal level on what should be happening to the American people. So yes, after recording this on December 29th, $600 got passed. But the problem we're having now is the $2,000. The Senate just stopped at the $2,000. There's going to be so much gridlock within the Democratic Party with the more moderates and the progressive, like AOC versus the moderates. And then we're going to have bickering between the Republicans and the Democrats on what is the best thing for the American people during COVID, which I think is a huge thing. Speaking of that, on the federal level, we're going to have more conflict, I truly believe, with China and the U.S. as far as our foreign affairs and our trade policies. With COVID going on, with there in China and America, as Americans being the old traditional superpower, and China coming up, we're going to see more gridlock, more tightening, more trade wars going on, more currency wars. Nobody talks about that, but currency wars going on between the two major superpowers, and who is the superpower of the world. Another thing we're about to see a record amount of bankruptcies. You thought 2020 was bad for its bankruptcies, where we saw a number of retailers that we normally look at, Neiman Marcus as one of them, quite a few others, but we're going to see a record number of bankruptcies. And we're just not going to see companies that we grew up with are not going to be able to survive this. On a personal level, we're going to see people find a record amount of personal bankruptcies. People who've been laid off, who's trying to save their home, trying to save their credit, and just trying to figure out everything. We will see a record amount of bankruptcies happening in 2021. That's one of my predictions. I think that's an easy one. When you guys watch this in the end of 2021, you go like, man, Jason was right on point for that. But we will see a record amount of bankruptcies happening in 2021. And the last prediction I have, the last one, is we were going to have a record amount of foreclosures and evictions. If you thought 2008, 2009, and 2010 was bad for evictions and foreclosure, I think 2021 those were a walk in the park. 2021 is going to be tremendous for a lot of people, as I don't think our federal government is going to continue to have this moratorium. I don't think banks and bonds are going to be able to put in the back end everybody's mortgage payment to put in the back end of the loan, which just simply will not happen. So we will see a record amount of foreclosures and evictions. It's crazy. I remember last Saturday I was watching this documentary on Vox, how in Virginia they wasn't even paying attention about the CDC order, and they were still allowing people to get foreclosed in the middle of winter in Virginia. I'm a California guy, and 50 degrees is cold, but imagine Virginia where people sleep in their cars and it's 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 10 degrees. It snows out there. I ain't used to snow. I'm a Bay Area California boy growing up. I'm not used to that cold. So imagine that. And you think tent cities are bad now. Wait, we're going to have more and more, if you old school or believe it, Hoover Towns. And if you don't remember, Hoover Towns were in the Great Depression. We have these tent cities that are getting built. And I think we're about to have a continuation of those. I don't know if we're going to call those Trump cities now or Biden cities, but we will see those, which is so unfortunate. Now, with this video, it was not to scare you. It was not to set, but it was supposed to be to set some alarms out so you could probably prepare for it. So watch our other video on what can you do for 2021 to get your financial house in order. Hope everybody has a great, happy holidays. Make 2021 the best of it. And I hope everybody have a good day. And make sure, but most importantly, hit that subscribe button and let us know your thoughts.